Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I can't believe that school is starting so soon. I actually thought it was supposed to start this week for Wake County Public School, but I guess it starts next week. I know some private schools started this week or started recently, but yeah, Wake County starts, I guess, a little bit later. And it's always so funny. I remember being a teacher in this school system in Wake County and then also a student that sometimes they started in the middle of a week. I never understood that, but yes, they're starting in the middle of a week next week. So it's exciting though. I always loved the first day of school, always loved it. Some people dread the end of summer, but I always loved getting back into routine, seeing my friends, seeing all of the people and just the hustle and bustle. I just love it. And I never mourned the summer was over. Now, as an adult, it's kind of sad because it feels like it goes so fast. And for you who are watching from Myrtle Beach, I guess your school started maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. You guys start really early. It's very surprising. But speaking of starting school, we have open houses and meet the teachers coming up. So if you are in Myrtle Beach and you are interested in learning about our program and meeting our wonderful teachers, and by the way, this is not knocking the Raleigh teachers because I really, really love them, but I've never met a group of teachers that I was so in in sync with, in alignment with, simpatico. I mean, these teachers care so deeply about the intrinsic benefits of lessons, and they're so knowledgeable, and the energy is just it's just amazing. I'm so excited for you guys to meet them. I'm so excited. I just they're all outgoing and just caring and yeah, I think you guys are going to like them very much. So come on out. It's the last Thursday in August. It's going to be at 6 o'clock and come meet the teachers. It's at 5523 North Ocean Boulevard, apartment 308 in Myrtle Beach. Come see a beautiful view of the beach and come have some snacks and come hang out with us. Come talk and learn about our program. We'd love to have you. And then for Raleigh, we are, as you, a lot of you might know, we are moving. And so we move to our new location very, very soon. And that is 9204 Falls in the Neuse Road, Suite 110. It's literally 2 miles from where we are now. It's a little bit closer to 540. We are going to have an open house. You can come check us out. Excited about this space because we have the upstairs and the downstairs and a garage, and so excited to be able to decorate. And that open house is going to be September 7th, which is a Saturday at 6 o'clock. Come on out, meet everybody. We'll have been there doing some a retreat that day with the teachers, and so they're going to get to decorate their space, and we're going to get to be together as a faculty. And so come see, hang out at 6. Come learn about us and what we offer. And again, this is a big, we have a probably this is the biggest faculty we've ever had. So I'm very excited, and lots of new teachers here this year, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So that's September 7th. So we start lessons at that school the week after Labor Day. And then for Myrtle Beach, we start the day after Labor Day. So I am excited to see you all. I wanted to talk a little today about strategy in the music world. It's this topic of strategy is something that I've been talking about with my cohorts in my positive intelligence class, talking about strategy and just life and relationships and just everything. And I thought how I could relate it back to being in the music business or to music lessons, music teaching, all of that. So I have my little notes here. So let's talk. Um, I've always been one personally in my life, if you know me, as I prided myself on being authentic. of being authentic and real person, someone that you can count on, that you know you don't have to guess how they're going to behave or respond. It's a very what you see is what you get. That's I prided myself on that for a long time. And I can say now, living as long as I have, there are definitely advantages to that and also disadvantages. And it's the same with using strategy and authenticity in the music world. Um, I have to say, I don't like strategy as much, especially when you're using strategy to get something from someone else. And you know, you are your product as a musician. So yes, you're going to be getting some, you know, that's the aim. So how do we balance being authentic and then also getting the job or making the relationships, creating the relationships that in the music world? How do you balance that? So one of the first things I said is that I just want to, before we really get into this, is to say that it is good. It is always good to have boundaries. So I tend to think that strategy is different than having boundaries. Now, having boundaries in music and in life is part of strategy, but strategy can be more than just having boundaries. I think that strategy has a negative connotation, especially as a female from the South. We are taught as we grow up to be obliging and easy in terms of just helpful and are useful to people and open. We're taught that that is ingrained in us at a young age, that is the acceptable way to be. So we're also fighting that conditioning as well when we're talking about this, because sometimes it's hard to separate getting what we need and then also being socially acceptable as well. So it's interesting. um I will say people can feel when you are selling yourself as a teacher, as a musician, when you get up there for that audition, when you have that resume that you send out or that cover letter or whatever it is, people can feel if you're selling to them. And what I mean by that is, are you inflating yourself? Are you acting unlike you are? Are you pushing things down? That, because people can always feel that stuff. If you're, you know, therapists will say this a lot, that if you're angry about something, or if you're disappointed, or if you're whatever negative emotion and positive emotion that you can feel, it will come out. Even if you will it away, push it down, it will come out in ways that maybe you have no idea. And so people can feel when you sell to them. People can feel if you are not being authentic to yourself. And how to combat this. What is your why? What are you trying to do? In your mission to be a musician, what is the ultimate goal? What is it that you would like to see? Maybe a goal that's intrinsic to you, something that is bigger than yourselves. For me, my goal, and I've said this a lot in videos, is to change the world. And it starts with changing the community. And one of my biggest things about being a music school and a music teacher is changing the perception of commitment. That commitment plays a far bigger role in music than most people can comprehend. I, being the first example of that in my own music training, and it's like I wanted to go back and fix that. And so I can't do that because we can't go back in time, but I can fix and help people not experience that same heartache that I went through by having the tools in place when you're young enough and have those foundations, have done the steps correctly as a musician, learning the foundational stuff first, then going to the stylistic stuff, then going to all the fun of making music your own. So it's the same thing with getting up for an audition. People can tell if you are putting on a show, if you are trying to say that or pretend like you can do something when you can't. They can feel that. People know that. They might not be able to say it clearly, but people can feel when you're not being authentic to yourself. If you're, as a singer, as an opera singer, if you're doing a role that doesn't fit well in your voice, they're going to hear it. If the character, you're not connected to it, they're going to see it. It's the same thing with playing an instrument. If you don't feel comfortable with a piece and then you go in and play it, they're going to feel that. They're going to hear that. They're going to see that. They're going to see it in your body language. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. So knowing yourself is a way to combat this and being authentic. So maybe being authentic is your strategy. And you could argue that that is a strategy. But I think going in and trying to dupe people or trying to extract from them something is not the way to do anything. I do not think the ends justifies, or yeah, ends, the means justify the ends. Uh, yes, I do not think that ends justify the means. So I do not think that you should do anything you can do. Should lie. You should say, oh, I can do this. I've heard lots of actors do that. They'll lie on their resume and say they can do this and that and this. And maybe the system itself is silly, but I don't think lying about anything is also the way to go either. You have to be able to sleep at night. And this business is all about relationships, and nobody wants to be lied to. Nobody wants to be taken advantage of. And so it doesn't mean, though, that you don't go in without having an idea of what you want to do. But I just do not think that going in and trying to come in and take people's money is the way that you should live your life. It will not work. And honestly, even more than it will not work, you will not be happy. That will not create happiness. That just creates division and more competition. And we don't need more competition in this world. We need more togetherness in this world. There is a place for everyone. We are not here to step on other people. We are here to be the best versions of ourselves and be community with everybody else. That's not everybody believes that, but I do. All right, so a big thing about strategy, and if this is your strategy, that's fine, but it's not, to me, it's not really strategy, is to go in and have your product, the thing that you are selling yourself, be in tip-top shape. So going in to an audition as best as you can. Sometimes life happens. You don't have time to practice for something very much, but you want to do it. I get that. But as much as you can to be ready for that audition, ready for that meeting, ready for that whatever, to go in to teach, to have preparation and to be the most prepared that you can be in order to do whatever it is. Now, is that strategy? Yes. Is it strategy that's going to possibly hurt other people or other people or separate? No, because you are going in, we are only competing with ourselves and what we did yesterday. And so you want to be the best version of yourself. So that means coming in prepared, whatever that looks like to you, but coming in prepared. And if you don't know what that looks like to be prepared, go talk to an expert. come talk to us. We can help you get prepared. We can help you get that audition ready to go. So I think that the way, if you are planning to have strategy, if you want to live in this life and this, and to be a musician that does employ strategy, that does want to compete, that does want to step on people's toes in a nice way, hopefully, then there's got to be a way for you to have relief, because you can't live like that all the time. In fact, I would say that that would cause an immense amount of unhappiness and distrust. So you would need to have some relief. And that means having a system in place, having a group of people, or having a person that you do not have to be strategic with, that you can be your authentic self, and to have that outlet, because you can't survive where you're always thinking of the next step ahead with everybody that you ever speak to. To me, that feels exhausting. And it feels like, how could you maintain that forever? It feels like you would start to focus in on the things that are not as important in life. And to me, for me, it would get me further away from my goals. And that is that anybody can be a musician. It just takes commitment. And I mean, so we have the two things, commitment and then that community aspect. So those two things are kind of the secret. So having a way to release the pressure that employing strategy entails. You want to be able to say your real feelings about stuff. You need to have a group, a safe group, people who know you and love you, and it's not conditional. But you have to have that as a musician, especially we are in the practice room so much. We are on our own so much. We need we need that release valve. We need it. Otherwise, who knows what will happen. And then my last tip is, when you are employing strategy, if you desire to employ strategy, let the strategy help others. That it is something that you are providing for them, not that they're providing for you. So as a musician, if you're going into an audition and they're looking for someone, go in with the mindset that they are trying to find the right fit for this role. So give them something to work with. Give them the best of you so that you can be of service to them. Same thing with being a teacher, not going into what can you do for me, as thinking about students and how they fit into our schedule, but it is a dialogue, and that you are providing a service to them. It's the same thing with being a student. You don't go into a student, what can you do for me? Let me sit here and watch you, and you model this for me, and then maybe I'll do this. No, you are even as a student, you are providing a service as well. You are there investing, and your parents are investing in lessons. It's time to invest in what your teacher's saying and really try it. And the teacher's job is to make you sound good, to have the foundation in place, to do whatever you want with music. So going into anything, not just music, anything with how can I be of service? I just don't see can you be of service with boundaries? And we'll talk more about that. And we've talked about boundaries in the past. I do think that it's very easy to take that idea of how can I be in service and run wild with it, and to do things when you don't really want to, or to do things to please others. And so we'll talk, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy. But I think, how can we get to a healthy place a strategic place where we're being of service without our own suffering, without doing things against our own well-being. So that's just a question to think about. So basically, this whole video was how I don't like strategy. I don't know if you can tell. I just don't. To me, it just has a negative connotation. I know I don't want to be used. I know I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't know. I know I don't want someone to look at me and go, "Oh, I'm going to take her money," or "Oh, I'm going to take her time," or "Oh, she's going to help me do this or this or this," and that's her worth to me. That doesn't feel good. That's And that's why at my schools, I'm trying so hard. And we're always learning and growing, and it just is the reality thing. But I try so hard to have this be more than just transactional lessons, going in, have your lesson, and then leave. Because it's not just that. It's so much more. It's so much more. It's treating teaching about the whole self. You learn about your whole self instead of just a part of you. And I knew this is an uphill battle, and I'm willing to keep on with that battle because I believe in this so much to the point where, not everybody's going to see this. Not everybody's going to see the point of having more than just lessons, or having more than it just be a transactional thing. And maybe we're not good fits for each other. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I just think that transactional relationships, transactional anything, is going to ultimately cause unhappiness because it's empty. Yeah, there has to be something deeper. There has to be something guiding each other that's bigger than ourselves. What is that for you? When you're doing anything, something that maybe people, I mean, parents, you're on here, you guys work in business, you're doing your doctors, your lawyers. What what is your reason? Why do you do what you do? Is it for the money? I can guarantee the majority of you, it is not for the money. Maybe there are people out there in this world that do it for the money, but is it really about the money? I don't think so. And I think having that mentality, that's a strategy. So I guess I'm just going back on everything that I've said. I don't like the idea of having a strategy because I don't like the idea of having an ulterior motive for someone. I don't like the idea of my will being put on someone else. I don't like it. Well, what do you think? What do you think about this? All right. Well, you're welcome to. I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments because I'm still working this out, this idea. All right. Talk to you soon. See you soon. Bye.